What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. Today is a special part 2 episode to the collaboration with Big Herc and OG Badger. Okay, Big Herc, if anybody doesn't already know, he did time in the feds. Badger did time over there in California, and I did my time over here in the East Coast in Virginia. Okay, this is an epic little collaboration because a lot of you already know there's some major differences in all these different types of prisons. It's almost like it's two totally different worlds, you know what I mean? But anyways, this is part 2. The first one is on Big Herc's channel. I'm going to leave a link to their channels in the description, and I'm going to pin it in the comment section below for y'all to go check out. Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button when you're visiting their channels. And I believe the third episode will be on Badger's channel on Friday. And like I said, the first one was on Big Herc's. If you want to catch up so you're not really lost, go watch his first on his channel and then come here for part 2. What we're doing in these 3 episodes is answering questions from the audience, okay? 3 very important questions. If you have any, feel free to leave it in the comment section because I do believe there's going to be collaborations here in the future. Hopefully, it'll be a monthly thing. But anyways, I hope you all enjoy, and as always, I salute to every last one of you who've been supporting me since the beginning and everyone who is just now joining the lockdown compound.
So we're running questions by each other here, and I seen your mug shots when you went in. You were just a pup, you know what I mean, and you were doing some pretty janky things out here. So you entered there with some habits that were probably going to either get you in trouble right away in there or get you to fit in a certain crowd. So you were there for a minute. Were there any habits that you picked up that you brought home with you that you'll probably do for the remainder of your life? Or they got you by in the beginning when you got out, or you knew for a fact that you had to drop these other certain habits, So it's like a 3-part question, more or less.
Well, the first habit that I can think of, it really doesn't pertain to anything, but it is something that I brought back. It's not really positive, or I guess it could be a positive. One of the things that I learned in prison, and I still do to this day, is the way I make my bed. I make my bed, and I made a video. I don't know if anyone in the feds or in the state do it like this, but I used to tie strings to the sheets and tie them really tight. I mean, it was like, if the COs came in there and did a shakedown, they're going to have a 10-minute workout trying to break that sheet off of that mat. And I do that even with my king-size bed. I'll flip that whole freaking mattress over, and I do it to my kids' beds too, and I tie it up so tight to where, because everyone hates when that bedspread flaps over the corner of your mattress. So that's one thing that I just can't seem to break, and it could be a positive or negative. Another thing.
You just do that so you don't have to wash them as often.
Well, I got a wife, so she does all the washing. I mean, it's mainly, I don't know, it's mainly probably a little state structure, a little institutionalized a little bit in a way. I know one thing that is really negative about that I've taken back from prison is my trust factor. It is seriously hard for me to trust anyone if they're not my immediate family. I only got, right now, I can honestly say I got one friend that I can trust 100%. And I probably would have had, or can have, much more that I trust 100%. But it's just, leaving prison, it's just showed me the darker side to individuals and how they're always trying to get something from you. In some way, shape, or form, even if it's not visible right then, it always plays out later on the inroad that they were kind of just doing it to benefit themselves or whatever the case is.
Put an IOU ducat in their pocket to call you on later, right?
Yeah, or anything. Anything. It just seems as though someone always is gonna want something back, or they're gonna turn on you in an instant. I've had a couple people in the penitentiary over something as petty as getting caught tattooing. They drop dime on me instantly. Tell them where everything is, even if it's nowhere near my proximity. They tell them everything. I'm like, damn, you're supposed, in my head, I'm not saying out loud to anybody to hear it, but in my head, I'm looking at them like, y'all are supposed to be these official cats, and y'all are dropping dime fast as hell over a damn tattoo machine, Um,
That's where,
I mean,
where the difference
and the
between
whole time,
the inmates come in.
yeah, and the whole time, I mean, I would have, if it came down to it, after they pressed the pressure on, I would have gladly taken blame for it. But you got to push your limits, and see, hey, it ain't mine, man, it ain't mine, and then see what they do after that. And then if they say, okay, we're gonna lock you all up, of course I'm gonna say, hey, it's mine. You know what I
How's
mean?
it go? Deny, deny, then lie, and eventually stand up and say, "Yeah, it was me." Yeah,
when shit starts hitting the fan, yeah. If everyone's gonna take a fall for it, and there ain't no reason for that. But it never got to that point. I always learned that people would just get scared. They can't live without their honey buns for a week, and they will literally just put you under the bus fast as lightning.
we're gonna
So
shut
trust,
off Jerry's show, the
yeah,
Jerry Springer show. What are you talking about? Tell him.
yeah. So yeah, trust factor was huge for me. Still is. It's hard for me to trust anybody. Another thing that I brought to the streets that I learned in prison, and this is a positive, is that the world doesn't revolve around me. When I first went into prison, I thought, I was invincible. It's my world. Everything is up to me. It's around me. But when I went to prison, I realized, there's so many freaking walks of life and so many different perspectives. And now that's a positive because now I'm a YouTuber, and I made a video talking about prison versus YouTube because for real, the comment section is like a bunch of damn inmates. They all have a different perspective. They all say, "Oh, well, everyone has to be correct. Everyone has their own viewpoints and their own perspectives. And if you say one wrong word about religion, one wrong word about politics, you're liable to get stabbed or reported on YouTube." You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's another thing that I brought back. There's a bunch of things. I mean, I don't know. What about y'all? Do y'all have any of those?
I would say as far as some of the things, one of the things I brought back was just discipline. Before I went in, I kind of didn't have a real clear vision of where I want to go in life and what my goals were. And when I got to prison, I linked up with a couple of mentors and really started focusing on what my life purpose was. Before that, I was just, doing a bunch of different shit. I was doing, adult movies. I was a porn actor. I was robbing dudes. I was, slanging. I was doing all kind of stuff, no direction. I mean, I had, in my mind, goals I wanted, but nothing really clear. And when I got to prison and I got around, major players who were doing, some of them 5 lives plus 100 years, I started really thinking like, what is my life about? What is my purpose? And so I learned direction, which gave me discipline, and I almost act out every day now with a sense of urgency. I don't mess around when it comes to trying to get things done. I keep my word. I never if I tell somebody I'm gonna do something, my whole thing is I almost feel sick if I don't do it because I said I was going to do it. So my word is everything. And, that's allowed me to, far exceed a lot of people's expectations and to kind of, get ahead in life right now to where I'm looking at things, more as a positive than a negative. And, a lot of these things I had to learn on my own and through my mentor because, having done that much time, a lot of people had already written me off. Family members, I didn't get a visit. When I got out, I still didn't see family for like a year and a half. Everybody was kind of like staying back, like, oh, let's see what he's going to do. Is he going to fall on his face? Is he institutionalized? Is he crazy? What the hell? What's up with him? So I had to prove myself. And, I just really focused on, being disciplined as far as meditation, spirituality, judging character, critical and analytical thinking, realizing that I have more than one choice. I don't have to react to something. I can think about it. and play chess instead of checkers. And it just allowed me to avoid a lot of bullshit, man, and read people. So those are some of the things that I use to benefit myself. And also, I never was in the prison mentally. Physically, I was there. I wasn't there mentally. I was every day. I was reading Wall Street Journal, Forbes magazine. I was studying. I was to the point where if I got released that same day, I was ready to hit the ground running. So my mentality was always outside of prison. A lot of times people, whether it be a guard, call you by your number. Oh, hey, come here, inmate. I'm like, dude, my name ain't inmate. My name ain't 17. You can call me Big Herc. You can call me Marcus, but I'm not. So they used to hate that shit because I never bought into that, because I knew once they had you with that program, you were fucked. You know what I mean? You bought into that reality. And I never wanted prison to be my reality. I always told people I was passing through. I'm not here to hang out with you motherfuckers. I'm not here to participate. And, I'm just passing through. It's a life lesson to be learned here. And that's what I did. So I used it to my advantage, man. And like I said, I got out, and where a lot of people were stuck, I kept it pushing, man. I didn't have a lot of issues getting out, feeling sorry for myself, and oh my God, poor ex-felon, and oh, it's so hard out here. Every day I was laughing. I was enjoying myself. I was really on some positive shit. And that's what, I took from prison. And I would say one of the other things I took was patience, because and respect, because on the street, a lot of people out here have no fucking respect, man. I was at the gym today, and I'm parking my car. This asshole pulls up behind me and says, "Hey, man, hurry up." Dude, I just pulled in here. Now, I look at the car. My wife is looking at me, and the valet guy is trying to, say, "Hey, man." So I pull in. The dude starts talking shit. I was about to just throw the car in fucking park. Dude, jump out. I could have easily pulled this through his car window and smashed him. But I'm like, there's a level of respect, man. People out here, they do shit, and they think there's no repercussions. They could talk shit to you, say shit, and you won't do nothing to them. Which they get the game fucked up, because you still could get smashed. But that's a big thing. People, you learn a lot of respect in prison. People out here have no respect.
Zero
respect.
Sense of entitlement issues.
Oh my God. You see it in the gym. People walk by, step right over you, put their ass in your face when they're been, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sitting on the bench, they know you're waiting for, texting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like parking, like you said.
Yeah.
How somebody talks to your wife.
Yeah. So that respect is big on my list of things, and I just learned how to be a better person, man. But it's a rarity. A lot of people come out there, they don't do the deep thought, they don't reflect in there, and you see those guys going back and forth, man, or they're struggling, But I tried to really work on a lot of positives, man, and I think, because of that time out, I had almost like an epiphany in life where it was a wake up to where the day I got the cuffs put on me, I said, man, I'm done. The game is done. No more cops and robbers, all that shit. It's like, I took that, and it just took me in a whole nother direction. And so, like I said, it's a rarity, but prison actually gave me a whole new perspective on life, appreciation for life. And when you're sitting there talking to guys who got 150 years, you're like, and they're telling you oh man, you're short time and you got 10 years. You're like, fuck.
You're only here for a couple hours.
Yeah, they're like, man, Oswald's been down for 20. He's been down 15. He's been down 30. You're like, damn, this shit is crazy.
Shit's real.
It's real. It's real. So you really look at life, and every day, man, I wake up, man, I'm fucking so blessed, man. I feel when I can wake up in my own bed, it ain't no fucking ching ching and oh fuck,
Gates gets closer.
Oh man, gets closer. It's just a great feeling, man. So my appreciation for life is at a whole new level after having been to prison.
Yeah, definitely that respect thing. That followed me too, man. Like saying excuse me when I burp or something. Before I went in, I never said I burp, and I would never say excuse me on the street. Now I say excuse me. Sometimes I say excuse me when no one's even around me. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? There ain't even no one here, and I'm saying excuse me. You know what I mean?
All that smacking at the table, the kids. God. So, I've said this in several shows. Me and Herc have done quite a few shows before, and my level of respect for this man is insane. Okay, because he went there for. Watch the show if you don't know what it is. Do you mind if I say?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So he went there for armed robbery, bank robbery. And in my opinion, that would mean that I'm going in with that same mentality. Me, I went there for just a little petty ass crime, and I ended up making some poor decisions and being stuck there a whole lot longer than I anticipated. Let's just say that. So, but I stuck with that mentality from the moment I got in there. I was in every fucking mix. I did not reflect on anything. At the end of the night, it didn't matter who I hurt, as long as I got what I wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I picked up the most horrid behaviors you could look for. You know what I mean? Especially being in MCJ, Los Angeles County Jail is like one of the roughest facilities that I've ever encountered. I heard Angola is pretty gnarly, but it's a fucked up facility, and I learned just exactly what you said, the treachery amongst us. You know what I mean? Like, me and you know that we're getting him tonight. You know what I mean? But like, hey, dog, everything's good. You know what I mean? Like, when we know we're getting ready to get somebody, everything's all smooth as butter. We're buddying up with them. I picked up all the poor behaviors, all the poor, like you said, my trust level, it's not very high. You know what I mean? And if I hang out with you for a while and don't turn your back on me once, you know what I mean? Because there's no U-turns coming for me. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much how it was. And as far as a God goes, I had no God. You know what I mean? And fortunately, I do today. So one of the habits, and I wouldn't get a God when I was in prison either, because, the old saying, if you're scared, go to church. Yeah. Well, I didn't want to be seen in that scared car. You know what I mean? A little chubby kid, long hair, when I entered the gates, and that I did everything I could I was as vicious as I could to keep people away from me. The monsters away from me. And in the beginning, but like he said, I learned to read. Okay, so I read a library of books, still can't spell worth a shit, but I read a library of books. That's one of the habits that I still do. Like you said, I get up in the morning, the first thing I do, usually even before I go to the restroom and take a leak, is I'll make my bed. You know what I mean? I make my bed from the gate. My room looks like a clean cell still to this day because I keep it clean. I maintain. A funny story about, you were saying how people would tell on you for this or that. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to jump off a little so you have a little interesting story in your segment here. I was
by all means.
We're at Corcoran. They were laying brand new concrete for their new PIA and all. I mean, miles of concrete. They had us out there slaving. So the IDL, inmate day labor boss, he was a black guy, and he just loved me. For some reason, he just loved me. You know what I mean? But we're laying all this concrete, and Badger comes up with this ingenious idea of going out there and scratching a huge old SFB with a swastika underneath it. Okay, this is my great idea at the time.
Yeah.
So this is my mentality at the time.
Yeah.
So, man, the whole facility went on shit lockdown. They're like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, everybody's tripping. A CO found it. They called the whole facility together, and because of the people that knew that, the ones that did know that I did it, they weren't going to say nothing. But, you know what I mean? It would have got around, like you said. They would, everyone in their house, Badger, you got to tell on yourself. You got to tell on yourself.
Yeah.
And, so I can't, I think his name was Mark, the black guy who was the leader, you know what I mean? So I go, yeah, you know what? So you guys don't quit peeing your pants. I'm going to go tell, because they were going to roll up the entire facility. So everyone from San Fernando. So I went and told him, I said, hey, I need to talk to you. And he goes, no. He already knew what I wanted to talk to him about. You know, he's like, no. You know and I'm like, I just couldn't help but smile. And he's like, no. And the other cop was a Rodriguez, and he comes in and he tells him, He goes, I know who did it. Don't worry about it. We'll just, and Rodriguez was not letting it go. You know what I mean? But everybody out there still wanting to tell, but I'm in telling on myself. You know, I wasn't going to let a bunch of people get caught. And this black man looked at him. He goes, he's my best worker. He's not going to the hole. We'll put some new concrete in there and be done with it. And he goes, and you're going to owe me. I mean, so like, there were lots of things that started breaking my ignorance as far as even inside. Yeah, I mean, even inside, like this man had, by all rights, he could have rolled me up. I would have been to the hole, all this. Now, he showed me some love that was just unexpected and undeserved at the time. So that was one of my first, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing? So that's like a habit that I had to start working on there. Like, not everybody hates me because of their skin tone. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, but that was my belief because that's the car that I kicked it with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you're indoctrinated with what's going on. You know what I mean? I don't even want to go into the ignorance because that's exactly what it was. It was complete ignorance, you know? And this guy, he didn't let me go to the hole. He wouldn't let me get rolled up. But I mean, he did do me right. He goes, Badger, I got something for you, though. Don't think you're out of here scot-free, you know? So they have these big, what you dump the concrete out in to make the you know what I'm talking about? It's a big machine you put feet of concrete and it's dumping it and everyone's pushing. Mm-hmm. He goes, you're working concrete. We're talking Corcoran summertime, bro. Brutal temperatures, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was in there just pushing concrete for days. And, you know, I went to this man and I thanked him, you know what I mean, in front of all the people that would not want me thanking him. And I reached out and I shook his hand. Yeah, I mean, I was like, by all rights, you have no reason to have kept me here. And he goes, you know, I see you guys for something different than you see us, you know, than everyone else sees you guys, you know, and that started to open my eyes, you know. And then when I went back to the back, another thing, my neighbor was a BGF, you know, and then next to him was a Northerner. And when I get back there, the BGF, he's like, hey, Skin, you ain't got nothing, huh? And I'm like, nah, I'm just getting here. And he hooked me up a care package, you know what I mean? And in my mind, I wasn't allowed to take that care package, you know, but I learned a lot, bro, from the county jail to there, as far as the way you guys got it, you know, and I might get a hit put on me for saying this if I ever go back inside, but you know what? The ignorance that we do out here, COs help breed that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I see people today and I see them for the person that they are, whether they're white, black, or Mexican. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. You know what I mean? And that's how I live today. So, but don't get me wrong, the entire car was like, you got to tell on yourself. You got to tell on yourself. It's the same thing out here in a dope game. You know what I mean? People will tell on you behind a parking ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just sold me a 16th because you got a parking ticket waiting to get that 16th.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, you know, people telling. And as far as the respect goes, that was insane, bro. Yeah. I lost it with that. So this answers our first part of the question too. How to stay out of trouble in the system? Get in trouble from the beginning and go to the shoe. You know, can't get in trouble back there. Your points even get dropped, you know? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you end up sitting in the shoe and you end up with a lot of time to reflect on a lot of stuff, man, you know? Yeah. And if it weren't for that, I would have given any of my poor behaviors any consideration. I would have still been out there on the yard, sucking up the ignorance and getting off with them because they did this or whatever the case is, you know?
Yeah.
I think, I'll just leave that subject alone. I just think that I'm grateful for every move that I had to go through and all the hate that I had to learn to hate, because then I had to relearn how to live life out here, or else I knew that I was not going to make it out here. Yeah. You know? We watched a couple calendars fall, man, you know? So one of the habits that I bring home today is I stop. I think, you know what I mean? I pray in the mornings for sure. I make my bed. I clean my room. You cook, I clean. Yeah, I mean, like all the try and keep it on a respectful level at all times,
Yeah.
you know, and see people for who they are today, you know, and that's everybody. If you're a jackass, you're a jackass. I use everybody as a learning tool. Yeah, I mean, he's humble, he's a hustler. So those are the attractions you attract to, right? He's loud, he's annoying, he's a jackass. I don't want to be seen in that light. So, you know what I mean? I use everybody as a tool today. So
Yeah.
learning how to absorb my surroundings, you know, because I developed a serious case of paranoia in there. You know, always on my, you know, paying attention to what's going on around me.
Yeah.
So if I had to say anything, I would say that I learned prayer. I brought that home with me. You know, I learned consideration. I learned respect. And those are things that I'm going to definitely keep with me. I learned not to take lack of respect either. I'm not going to, like you said, but I think twice before I get out of the car and I go smash somebody.
Yeah, because of witnesses.
Because I'm going to prison.
Yeah.
Somebody out there right now going,
Yeah.
you know, they're filming us right now. I watched some guy this morning on the news.
Oh yeah,
Big old brother.
He got
He's a big old brother
no
too.
Spanish guy.
Spanish guy.
Yeah, but they didn't show the women attacked him, but he knocked them out.
Well, I'm sure they
and
did.
then now eventually
Right.
he said it turned himself in like fuck it.
So
know?
you get
Yeah.
CBS's version of it.
Yeah,
Him attacking two broads.
He knocked him out
When they were hitting him with
Oh, I think I saw that. Was
Yeah.
he a big dude wearing a hat?
Yeah, look,
He knocked that girl cold out.
And they were saying everybody watched, but I didn't. You know, all we seen was him knocking him, but apparently they, you know, kind of got out of pocket trying to talk. You know,
Yeah, they were antagonizing it.
Don't attack a man unless you want to be man.
You hit like a man.
You know,
get hit like a man.
Yeah, he turned himself in, man. Everybody had the video. It went viral.
Yeah, that's a big dude too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
big.
So,
Yeah, they kind of stupid to try to swing on.
for sure.
Yeah, he was like 6 foot something.
Slapping him with some
Yeah.
weenies. I think he was behind some hot dogs. You know what I mean? Wasn't it?
I don't know. They looked like they were downtown somewhere else.
Yeah, they were slinging hot dogs and they cutting line, whatever. Fucking anyway, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
But
Respect.
but now he's gonna pay the price.
Yeah.
Because he didn't take a minute and think about it.
Yeah.
It don't matter because CNN showed what they showed,
Yeah.
and that's
He was
all-
already prosecuted.
he's already guilty.
He was already prosecuted.
So, but they don't show that they were being disrespectful, and they probably both deserve to get punched another time or two. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that that's how they've lived their life, is pushing on people.
Oh
throughout their
yeah,
whole
yeah. I
life.
mean, they wouldn't. That's not a first time. You don't just out of the random up. You know, unless you've been doing that and getting away with it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I bet you they'll think twice about doing that shit now.
I was at Thrifty's with my mom when I first got out. Ice cream was really, you know, I've been out for a minute, but anyway, this Thrifty's guy, we're asking for ice cream, right? And the dude tells my mom, "Can't you see I'm busy?" Well, I sat there and I stewed. And I was a big dude at the time. You know, I mean, I had some size, just get out of penitentiary. And I stewed and I stewed. So she ordered ice cream. She asked me what I wanted. And I said, "I'll show you what I want when he hands you that ice cream cone." And I snatched this dude over the counter at Thrifty's, you know what I mean? And my mom started screaming. So that's where my behavior my mentality was still there, you know? And thank God I've learned not to do that.
Yeah.
Even my mom was like, "I can't take you anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't take you anywhere."
And that's another thing I learned, you know, and brought back with me is, I mean, you can really tell your friends from when the shit hits the fan.
That's the only time you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the only time you can really tell who cares for you is if you go to penitentiary and whoever's writing you sends you a little food. Like I said, I didn't have anyone. None of my friends, nobody wrote me. Zero, man. And that's another thing I brought back. And that's another thing that I kind of hold in, you know, hold deep in my heart towards the people that I still talk to this day, that I've known since I was a kid. But there's this thing inside of me that's like, man, you ain't shit to me, man, for real, because you didn't do nothing. Even though I shouldn't, you know, it wasn't up to them to help me. But you could at least answer your phone when I called. A free call. You couldn't even answer a free call. You couldn't write a letter. You didn't care about anything that was going on in my life. So,
well, they did do something for you, bro. They tried to get at your old lady when you was buzzed.
You know what though? On the
I wouldn't be surprised, damn. I wouldn't be surprised.
on the flip side of that though, I look at that the people who didn't reach out, or, you know, the lack of, it made me stronger.
For sure.
So I turned that anger or that bitterness into, okay, I'm gonna shine, and then you're gonna be asking me for shit when I get out, but you're not getting it. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it gave me determination. And I seen where people had that, the visits, and these guys are pieces of shit. You know what I mean? Mom, send me $5,000. I'm like, Mom, you better send it to me right now.
God, I've seen that.
And these dudes is like, you're like, God damn, this dude's a piece of shit, and he's getting a visit. You know what I mean? And he's disrespectful. Yeah. So some people never learn because they have that pacifier, because they have that old lady on the street, you know, or whoever feeding them. And so they think this is a fucking game. You know what I mean? To me, it wasn't no game. When I went in there, I realized this shit is for real. When I got out, I kept it 100. So everybody who like didn't really have a whole lot to do with me, like you said, hey, I keep it cordial, but I always know that in the back of my mind, you ain't about it. You don't really have my best interest. So yeah. You know, but it motivates me to be just super successful. And like going back to also to people I meet on the street, I don't put them in any type of situation because I know they're not cut like that. Most of my friends now is people I did time with. Yeah. I don't fuck with squares, man. Squares, you took a couple MMA classes, you know how to wrestle. You know what I mean, dude? You're not cut like that. You're not within not even another 48. What is it? The first hour, you're gonna break down. Yeah. So I don't really mess with a lot of people who haven't really done time. I mean, I socialize, but I just would never put a person in that situation. Yeah.
Right. One of Herc's mottos, as you can tell, is hustle till your haters ask if you're hiring.
Exactly.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And hey, to touch into what you said, Herc, you said you saw people in there asking their mom for $5,000 or something. I got something that goes along with that too, man. I used to bid off this guy. It was a young kid. But, you know, what he was doing was very disrespectful. But at the same time, people would sit back and watch him on the phone and be like, it was almost as though it was entertainment. Because this kid used to get on the phone and he would call his grandma and he would scream on the phone for the whole block to hear, Grandma, I swear to God, if you don't give me these fucking holiday packs, I swear to God, I'm going to snap when I get out. I need it. I need these packs. I need the packages. And I was like, damn, you know? And it was the most disrespectful thing, man. But it's funny how you just said that. It made me think of that kid. I'll never forget him, man. And it's unbelievable. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable. But I can't lie. It was damn funny hearing this idiot talk like that to his damn grandma, man. It was unbelievable, man.
Hey, well, at the end of the day, man, for us to have, you know, put a platform on YouTube to share shows that we took something that was positive from where we were at, because you know, we're trying to inform people of, you know, not everybody's a piece of shit. You know, there are a lot of pieces of shit, but not everybody's a piece of shit who does time. You know, you do time, you learn, you mature, and you know, you can give something back. And that's what we're doing with this whole collaboration, man, and what we're doing with our platform. So that's a positive, because you know, there wasn't a whole lot of people there have, you know, when I was growing up, I didn't have anybody, you know, giving me any positive feedback about the pen, like, hey man, you don't want to go there. You know, hey man, watch out for this. Don't drink this. Don't do this. You know, these dudes were like, you know, they were just like, hey man, you know, I'm an OG. And so I said, fuck it, man, I want to be an OG. So, you know, I didn't really get what we're providing, which I see it in the emails, and it's a positive, which, if anything, people talk about, hey man, you know, blah, blah, blah. Well, you probably saved X amount of people from going to prison because they watch the shows and they feel like, man, you know what? I'm cool.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I'm cool. And that's the best thing you can give back. I mean, not to have done your time in vain, and to be able to share something that makes people think like, you know what? I was going to drive, homeboy, but I'm not driving. Hey, man, you got to get your own ride. You know what I mean? Oh, homie, you can't have that in my house. Nah. You know, you think twice, man. You realize, just like, you know, that little choice you thought you didn't have, you have that choice, and it's going to change your life. Sure. And that's what we're doing, man.
So, and to touch on what he's saying, to go from being a piece of shit to trying to give back to society. Yeah, I mean, because I know that I was a piece of shit in a lot of my decision makings back then, and and I know that I'm not that person today. Like you said, the comments. Some of these correctional officers that get at me, hey, I'm a correctional officer. You told it straight up. I mean, just good. We love what you're doing. Like I look at you guys in a different light now. It's just like you said, some of the comments are the payoffs. I mean, in my position, they have to be the payoffs because I ain't making no money yet. I mean, like you said, and I get to see who I was. I mean, who I am today, and then who I'm trying to be, and who my role models are.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I get, honestly, I didn't think I would be helping as many people as I get messages from and emails. I'm like, wow,
exciting.
It's unbelievable because really, I came into this channel to expose a little something on how inmates live and to possibly help people go into prison. When you go to jail and you've never been to prison, there's always those inmates that are saying, oh, you better look out, or there's the other inmates like, you will be all right, you just do this, that, and the third. But you really never know until you get there. But I think, coming from our perspectives, you got the West Coast, you got the East Coast, you got the feds. I mean, all this wrapped up, and people are going from each channel to each channel, and it's hitting the nation. It's hitting the nation, and they can really learn
the world.
Yeah, the world, and they're really, it's impacting a lot of people because believe it or not, man, and y'all know it just as much as I do. Fools are getting locked up so freaking fast nowadays. It's unbelievable. And they are in there for a long damn time. And a lot of these individuals are going to go into prison and come out worse than what they were before they went to prison.
Way worse.
Especially going to the West or something where you got to join those cars and possibly get caught up in some crazy stuff.
C numbers took almost 15 years to run through. Okay. D numbers are already down to 10 years. Then they came out with the E numbers. They're like 6 years. H numbers, 4 years. J numbers, bam, every other year. P numbers. I mean? Now they're double numbers because they just marketed us. Every time we get on a bus, you guys are discussing diesel therapy and whatnot. Every time you get on that bus, it's $225.
Yeah.
Wherever you're going. So they will shuffle you from here, and it's just big business. People that are doing the most petty stuff are going in there, probably never even been in a fight in their life. Been in a fight here or there, whatever, and they got caught with a 16th of dope or something that where they could have diverted, done some classes, did a little community service to pay back what they've done. But now they're sending them to prison, man. And like you said, they're going in there and they're learning the ignorant ways.
Exactly.
Because there's not enough schooling. There's not enough anything to keep the first question, keep people out of trouble.
Yeah.
Back, even when I was in there, you could graduate from college. It was on a computer. All that's gone. Yeah, you used to graduate from college. You could take your GED. In fact, as a matter of fact, when you first got there, you had to take an equivalency test to find out where you were. Most people couldn't read, bro. And I was somewhere along those lines.
Plus, a lot of the trade courses.
Reading, they're gone.
Yeah.
Welding.
Yeah. What is it? HVAC.
HVAC. Yeah. They should be teaching something that these guys could come out with instead of coming out and being lost.
The thing is, if you have that, you won't come back.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
You know what I mean? You're like, hey, man,
returning is the whole point. Like he's saying, it's an open door policy. People are doing life on the installment plan.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you say that it's more of the staff and the COs or the way that it's ran, or would you say it's more along the lines of the OGs or shot callers that aren't taking initiative?
It's the allocation of funding because, like you said, in the state, it's the politicians who are, the different programs that they're eradicating, which, at that point doesn't give you a whole lot of options. And then it keeps people in the mix. where if you know, you're talking about really changing people that when they get out to actually better themselves, which goes back into prison reform, you have to start administration. You have to say, hey man, for all you guys who want to be a part of this whole gangster shit, you guys can get on this bus. We got an institution for you. You guys go and do what you're gonna do. No and then for everybody else, hey man, we got barbershop, we got personal training courses, culinary arts, plumbing, HVAC. Man, you know what I mean? And you get 65%. Oh, fuck. See how many guys really want to go home.
For sure.
That's how you change the mentality. You educate a person, give them skills. If me and this guy's in HVAC class, we're cool. We're learning. Hey man, how you do this? Hey, you know, blah, blah. You know, you're breaking the barriers. But like when you talk about
all that racial shit goes out the door.
It goes out the door because we're trying to learn.
Right.
So you know, in order then now what happens is you have that, and that means now we don't need all the guards. We can bring in educating people, and now we can like make the situation less hostile. So hey man, I don't want to get fired. So I don't think they should have those programs. They shouldn't have the weights. They shouldn't have this. They shouldn't, because they don't want you to have that. It's sad because even some guards, oh, you think you're going to get out and do this? You think you're going to be smarter than, it's like, dude, just because I did time, I'm not supposed to be successful.
Right.
I can't go out here and make 6 figures, 7 figures. You know what I mean? So not saying all guards, because a lot of them, you know, they try to implement programs or try to bring certain things to an institution. But for the most part, I don't know if it's on the East Coast, but if you give these guys programs and you allow a person to excel, they'll change their ways, man. If you're educated, why would you want to be, and you can provide for your kids, why would you want to get out and make 30, 40 bucks an hour?
For sure.
I mean, you're making $1.50 something in prison, or maybe 30 cents.
12 cents.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to get out and say, hey, man, I learned all this shit. I can get out right now and enter the job force. You know what I mean? That's what it boils down to. So, you know, if you take anything from prison, take you a skill, take you something, or give back like what we're doing so people can see that, man, you know what? These guys changed their lives. You know, maybe I need to listen to them before I even go in so I don't support the prison system.
For sure.
You know what I mean? If I watch these videos, you know what? I'm going to go fucking work for Uber on the side instead of doing this and go to school instead of doing what I was doing with the homie. You know, and that's what it's about, man, is giving back, and like I said, giving these guys some really good options. But internally, the system has to change with the programming.
I completely agree. Before, welding was one of the biggest. That's the job to get. You know, I mean,
oh, you get out, get the union and everything.
And then people like he and I, you know, that wouldn't normally talk on the yard are out there showing each other, hey, you do swirl eggs, you know, you do all this stuff. And now, but the problem with that was a lot of people start to dream big too. You know what I mean? They start dreaming big. You know what the problem with that is? If they don't follow through with it, they're going to be right back.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't follow through with it, so how you get re-entered in California, what they do is they hand you a little $200, they drop you off at the bus stop, and they're like, we'll see you in a couple months. Yeah, I mean, there's a bus ride home, we'll save a bunk for you. You know, most people don't have a place to go to when they get out. They've been down so many calendars, whatever the case may be. They did this and that, family was ashamed, whatever. You know, they don't have enough places for people to go into and start to turn their shit around.
But on the flip side, the people who have, I know, taken welding, I know some guys working for the union, making good money. But they, like you said, now you've seen what happened when they did have the resources. So that's why I said it's so important to have those so that you can have, even if you have $200, you're like, hey man, I talked to dude, my homeboy got out like 6 months ago. He's gonna plug me with a job. Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, as soon as you get a job within a week.
He left, and he was in the same welding class.
Exactly.
Hey, Doc, I'm in Long Beach. I got a job. They're fucking hiring. You know what I mean? Like, you do stay plugged with those that are doing positive things.
Exactly.
Yeah. If not, it's going to be right back.
You go out and you're like, well, fucking.
What do I do?
Work
Jack in the Box?
Yeah.
I'm 42 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people get that. And that's what most of us, we already gave up on ourselves. You know what I mean? We're coming out at a certain age. Well, I'm too old to do that. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, those people already done though.
Well, I came out like that. You know what I mean? But then I learned to hustle too. I was like, you know what? Anything you can do, I can do better. I'm sure of it. You know what I mean? And that was the mentality that I would keep. And I do. I work circles around these 20-year-olds. I'm like, how do they even get a job?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pathetic. Any kind of job, you know. And unfortunately, having ran a few yards, I have some decision makings on mine, so I'm pretty good at counseling. You know what I mean? Drug counseling,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean? Like I already have a resume that had nothing to do with the resume.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it was taught to me from being on a yard.
Yeah.
You know? So, what's your guys' educational like back there?
Well,
Plus, the rooms were always air conditioned. The rooms where they had the computers were always air conditioned. Who wouldn't want to go in there?
yeah. Ours is like Greensville. This is one of the prisons I did most of my time in. They had wood shop class, okay, and they built they built furniture for colleges.
Oh, cool.
So desks and stuff like that. But let me tell you, it's cool. But guess what? The waiting list for that, you have to have at least 10 years or more.
Right.
In order to have that job. So if you had under 10 years, you weren't getting no kind of schooling. I mean, not schooling, but trade work. I think it was 10 years. It might have been a little less, but I know it was when I first went in, I went in for 4. So I was not eligible to get it. It wasn't enough time. So it was between like 5 or 10 years that you had to have in order to even join these trades.
But they do catch another year.
That's it. You know, I tried, didn't get caught, but it's all right.
Right?
No, I'm just playing. But yeah, it's what the hell. I mean, I understand they probably say, you know, we're not going to try to give this guy a trade when he only has a year left, but 4 years, that's plenty of time to teach a fool a trade. Well, they're thinking of a money mind state. Like, okay, we're going to keep the ones that are here long because they're going to be working forever pretty much. And we don't never have to constantly retrain people. So it's all big business, man. It's all big business.
Yeah. It's all big business, man.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. We've probably been going on for about an hour on this.
Yeah, it's been about an hour.
You guys on a hot date? I'm good. Just more episode, you know what I mean? Draw the attention. So you go ahead and wrap it up, bud.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate y'all once again. Salute to both of y'all's audience members that happened to stop by and join. This is part 2 of the 3-part collaboration, and hopefully we can do this, later on in the future, make some more episodes like this and talk about some more interesting things. And like I said, these are questions that the audience members that we pulled out, that Badger, Herc, and me, we pulled out of a bunch. But there's so many good questions. But I think this one was really the best questions to benefit people about, not so much of, racism. What have you ever seen someone get shanked in the neck? Or this is stuff that's a little more important to society at whole. So
way more important.
Yeah, so hope someone got something from this. And like I said, man, I appreciate y'all coming on to the show today.
Yeah, man, been a pleasure, man.
Been a pleasure.
All right, buddy. Well, until the next time, part 3 is going to be on Badger's channel, and part 1 is on Herc's channel.
Fresh out.
Yeah, so go check those out if y'all want to get in the line, in the mix, and watch it from the beginning to the end. And once again, I appreciate y'all for coming on to the show.